Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
People pay tribute to those affected by the Humboldt Broncos tragedy.
3 of the young men were from St. Albert. It's really emotional for everybody.
Dogs from around the city gather at NAIT to help fellow canines.
He knew exactly that he had been an integral part of saving lives.
A cold and snowy spring for Alberta leaves environmentalists worried for when the snow melts.
In areas where people typically have a wet area in the springtime, but that may be a little bit more exacerbated this year.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. From jerseys to sticks to huge donations, many around the world are giving their support for the victims and families of the now week-old Humboldt Broncos tragedy.
Many displays of support are to show those affected by the tragedy that they are not alone. Our Brendan Collins joins us live from the South Lobby with more.
Thank you. The mood here has been bleak but hopeful following the devastating vehicle crash in Saskatchewan that took 16 lives. Tributes to the Humboldt Broncos have appeared everywhere. Landmarks have lit up green and gold in a show of support. Across social media, people have used the hashtag #LeaveYourStickOut to show solidarity with the team. On campus, the mood has been somber. The flags flew half-mast all week, and emotions have been high.
Everybody feels the devastation and the sadness.
I didn't know anybody directly, but friends of friends, and hockey's really a community.
I was just thinking about my own kids and how I feel. So this is just a small token.
April 12th was declared Jersey Day as people donned their team colors in solidarity with the Broncos. To some, the incident hits close to home. Chelsea Hudima is a digital communications intern at NAIT, who was born in Humboldt.
My brother played for the Humboldt Broncos 5 years ago, and it's really true what they say, once a part of the Bronco community, you are always a part of the Bronco community. So we still very much feel like we are a part of that community.
NAIT's counseling team is aware of the impact this incident may have on campus and is open for those who are struggling.
We've had a lot of clients that we had booked previously mentioning it as adding to their own stress.
The outpouring of emotion and sentiment has come from all over the world, simple gestures to show they care.
It just shows you, how everybody really is one giant community.
With 4 of the past being from around the Edmonton area, many feel as though it has affected their own community.
Brendan, are there any memorials or tributes being held around the city?
Rogers Place is holding a public service on Tuesday, April 17th, to remember the lives of Parker Tobin, Logan Hunter, Jackson Joseph, and Stephen Wack, all of whom were from the Edmonton area.
Brendan, have other details around the crash itself surfaced this week?
Minister of Transportation Brian Mason has confirmed that the company involved is an Alberta company. Their license to operate has been suspended pending an investigation with the Saskatchewan RCMP and Saskatchewan Ministry of Transportation.
Thanks, Brendan.
That's Brendan Collins reporting live from the South Lobby. And our Tony Brar will have more on that story in sports.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
A new impaired driving legislation is taking full effect earlier this week.
A license suspension is given out right on the spot if the driver is impaired by drugs or alcohol. Our Odell Nelson has more on that story.
Thanks, guys. With the legalization of new impaired driving laws that took to effect Monday, it has some Albertans feeling a little bit of mixed feelings.
I think that immediate action may be more of a deterrent as opposed to tying up the courts and waiting to see if people are impaired.
20-year-old Shane and a friend were on their way home when the driver of an oncoming vehicle took off his headlights in an attempt to scare them for a laugh. But since he was impaired, he ran straight into them, sending both Shane and her friend into the hospital.
I wasn't expected to make it through the night with my injuries.
Similar stunts like that is something Ray Gallagher, an instructor at Glenn's driving school, has seen far too often in his lifetime.
Very few people, and as I tell my students in the impaired driving unit, every one of those, and this wall will be covered with articles of people that killed someone while they were driving impaired. That wasn't the first time they drove impaired.
Now, cannabis will also have a hand in this, but the province is waiting on a new federal law to which they can comply with.
We're extending our administrative sanctions, which involve license suspension at the roadside, to impairment due to cannabis as well.
Those with a graduated driver's license are given absolutely zero tolerance if any amount of alcohol or drugs are found in the bloodstream. An immediate 30-day license suspension, the seizure of your vehicle for 7 days, and an extension on the GDL license for more than 2 years are some of the penalties that come with it.
So I'm really hoping that that makes a difference so people don't get in their car and drive.
The risk of a collision increases significantly when alcohol is consumed with cannabis. And with the cannabis legalization rolling up on us, Albertans need to remember this: impaired driving is impaired driving, no matter what the substance may be.
Thanks, Odell.
That's our Odell Nelson reporting from White Avenue. Executive pay is under scrutiny at post-secondary institutions in Alberta. The Albertan government announced the new framework that sets the guidelines for total compensation of designated post-secondary executives. These guidelines that will take effect on April 15th include salaries and benefits. Now, top executives at the University of Alberta and Calgary can be paid a maximum of $447,000, while top executives at NAIT can be paid a maximum of $356,800.
This new policy is about being responsible and accountable to faculty, staff, and students, and ensuring that our institutions are able to provide an accessible, affordable, high-quality post-secondary education.
Once the framework is fully implemented, it will save the government and post-secondary institutions approximately $5 million per year.
Since November, Edmonton has seen an increase in vehicle battery theft in industrial areas. Thieves have been entering large compounds or parking lots where large quantities of industrial vehicles are parked and stealing batteries for profit. Several arrests have already been made.
It's been a citywide problem since November of last year, and it's continuing to escalate till now. Right now, there's over 50 occurrences citywide where these criminals have accessed these large quantities of batteries and stolen them from trucks, tractors, and equipment.
Officials say things you can do to prevent this is installing high-quality camera systems and high-quality lighting to help the Edmonton Police Service be able to identify the suspects quicker.
With the spring melt underway, Alberta Environment says there is some concern of flooding in areas around our province. The North Saskatchewan River is slowly breaking up. Officials say while they're not concerned at this time about the river running through Edmonton, there is concern for rural areas.
The plain snowpack usually comes off in a little bit of a shorter period of time, which does have the ability to create some overland flooding as that water makes its way into the various water courses and may impact some smaller.
Larger rivers like the North Saskatchewan won't be affected due to having a higher capacity. Smaller, more rural rivers will be experiencing bank flow conditions and lowland flooding.
NAIT technology students ventured out to the birthplace of the modern-day oil industry to take part in the annual Industry Day. Students got the opportunity to speak with some of the professionals in the oil and gas industry and learn about some of the equipment that was there up close. More than 30 companies were on hand to talk to the students and showcase some of the latest technologies in the industry. Former NAIT grad Jeff Mann was one of the industry professionals at the event, and he hopes they can learn from an event like this, just as he did when he was a student.
I'm hoping they can take away the same thing that I did from the experience, and that's networking with industry professionals, the graduating students getting a little bit more of an idea of what's out there in industry and what maybe aspect of it they want to work within.
Fracking, pipelines, and bitumen upgrading were just a few of the technologies being showcased at the event.
NAIT's Animal Blood Bank hosted a canine blood drive Saturday, and some brave dogs were there to lend a helping paw. The dogs donated blood that will be used as part of the Canadian Animal Blood Bank's supply and be distributed to dogs who need surgery or are being treated for trauma or disease. NAIT is one of the 3 collection sites in Edmonton that collect for the Winnipeg-based blood bank. NAIT's lab coordinator for the Canadian Animal Blood Bank says she loves to see dogs coming in on numerous occasions to give.
We have dogs that do not miss a single donation date, and it warms your heart to see things like that. And the Edmonton community is so great at giving that actually Edmonton alone supplies 20% of the blood supply for Canadian Animal Blood Bank Canada-wide.
If you would like to have your dog donate blood, you can fill out a form online at canadiananimalbloodbank.ca.
A new farmers market on wheels is bringing fresh produce and bakery goods to Edmonton, even though it might not be in season. The CD Fresh Express is a family-run business that sells farm fresh produce and local bakery eats at a reduced rate. The bus travels around local communities in Edmonton and stops for a few hours at each so people can shop and see what the bus is all about. Although fairly new, the owner of the bus says people have nothing but great things to say, and they're already looking to add a few more buses.
I'm already in the process of checking out a couple more buses to get on the road, just because the influx of customer volume is that to merit more buses on the road.
Lineker added he hopes to bring the business to central Alberta in the future. To see where the bus is headed next, you can go to Facebook and search at the CD Fresh Express.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Edmonton loves poetry. They made April its month too. The city proclaimed April as National Poetry Month on Wednesday. The celebration had Edmonton's current Poet Laureate Ahmed Nomadic Ali and former Poet Laureates perform some of their work and speak to the importance of poetry in Edmonton.
It means a lot. Poetry is at the root of a lot of things. It's at the root of music. It's at the root of literature. Every day we are reciting poetry.
For information on poetry events happening around the city this month, go to edmontonpoetryfestival.com. Coming up after the break, trade students typically go back to their jobs after finishing school.
But what is it like for other students trying to find a job in industry over the summer?
It's hard to find a job that's for summer students that is business related, because most of the time those jobs are needed for full-time.
Coming up in sports, I got your Mini World Cup final highlights from Wednesday and also previewed the AJHL final. And I get to throw an axe like a lumberjack. That's coming up in sports.
This has been the coldest start to April in 30 years, and it doesn't look like it's going to be going away just yet. I have your weekend forecast coming up.
Is your life missing some ingredients?
Without following NR92, it definitely is.
NR92's Facebook and Twitter is your portal to today's best music blends.
Follow NR92 for your best blend.
It's not exactly looking like spring quite yet. Hey, Daryl?
I know, I can't believe it. Woke up this morning and more snow. More snow. Unbelievable. Yeah. Let's hope Matthew has some better news for us. Matthew?
Yeah, that's right, guys. The snow was a little bit unexpected this morning, but we can look forward to it getting better this weekend. But let's first look at Calgary. Calgary is starting out at -1 on Saturday, and then it's going to creep up to double digits in the afternoon, which is great. So if you're making a trip down to Calgary this weekend, expect it to be nice. Going on to Jasper. Jasper's starting out with a big goose egg, but then they're going to warm up to +8. So if you're going down there to snowboard this weekend, you can expect it to be a nice one as well, but a little slushy on the mountain. And going into Fort McMurray, starting off a little bit cold, just like usual, like you'd expect in Fort McMurray, but makes its way up to +7 early in the afternoon. And so not too bad. Making our way into Edmonton. So what we've all been waiting for it to get a little bit warmer, and it will be. It's going to start off at -3 in the morning for Edmonton, but then it's going to make its way up to +8. So we can actually see spring coming. The average at this time of year in Edmonton is actually +11, with the low being 0. But 0 is not too bad, because if you actually look at 1935, it was -20 degrees, which is just something that I don't want to experience at this time of year. But the average in 1926, +26. That's insane. A little fun fact for you guys. This has been the 167th day straight that Edmonton has hit 0. That's actually breaking a 40-year-long record that's been held. That's all for weather. Back to you guys.
NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
The end of the school semester means more sun, but also summer jobs.
Many students face the same challenges. Our Cassandra Hornsby has more.
Summer jobs can be hard to come by when looking for a job related to your program.
Yeah, I'm going to be working landscaping during the summer.
I'll be working at a Mexican restaurant just in Sherwood Park. I'm a waitress. I have 2 jobs, so I work at the Expo Center as a bartender and server, and then I work at Dynamite Retail, like for clothing.
Many students feel like they have to work extra hours over the summer to bank some savings for when they find their first career job.
I just feel like I'll probably be starting off as a bank teller or something, which won't be paying a lot of money, maybe hard to find some hours. So I'm probably just trying to make some more money, work a lot of hours, save up a decent amount of money during the summer.
Alberta's unemployment has improved over the last year, and minimum wage will increase in October. Some students still find it difficult to find a job. Ricky is a business student at MacEwan who has trouble finding work. One of her frustrations is just getting an interview.
It's pretty hard. Everywhere you have to apply online, and last summer I looked around for jobs in the city, and most places you didn't even hear back, or they tell you, if you go in, they just tell you to apply online, so it's not worth your time to go and apply other places.
Both NAIT and MacEwan offer placement jobs for students once they have finished their studies. But these placements are either unpaid or pay minimum wage, causing students to work in the summer. For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Cassandra Hornsby.
There were some exciting sports events this week in YEG, but first, Tony took some time to speak to a fellow Ook.
Yeah, one that was directly affected with the Humboldt incident last week. Let's go to Tony now for this week's sports report.
Thanks, guys. As we know, it's been a tough week in the hockey world. We've seen the images, the memorials, and the tributes across Canada honoring the Humboldt Broncos. And for Ook's forward Jake McKittiuk, the pain of losing a friend will take some time to heal.
The majority of my best friends are all through hockey.
Best friends, including Connor Lucan. Jake and Connor first met in Spruce Grove when they suited up for the Spruce Grove Saints in 2015. McKittiuk says they developed a special bond through pranks and laughter. He says it's been a tough stretch, and he admires Canadians for stepping up and showing their support.
I think it's a really good thing with all the stuff that's been going on, the sticks outside and the jerseys, and all the get-togethers that have been going on. Whether it's obviously, no one wants to be there, but I think it's good. Everyone's coming together and kind of dealing with the grief together rather than being alone.
And with heavy hearts, many players from the Spruce Grove Saints took to the ice this week to prepare for the AJHL final. The Saints earned their way to the final by sweeping the Whitecourt Wolverines 10 days ago. They head down to Okotoks to take on the Oilers in a best-of-7 series that should be an offensive thriller. With the timing so close to the Humboldt tragedy, head coach Bram Stevens says it's an emotional dressing room, but the players are trying to focus on the task at hand.
Execution's been average, I'd say, at best, but our competitive level and our intensity and our willingness to get back at it has been really good.
Game 1 between the Saints and the Oilers begins tonight at 7 p.m. And following a disappointing season in Edmonton, Oilers CEO Bob Nicholson states that Peter Chiarelli will continue to lead the charge as president and general manager. In a press conference on Thursday, Nicholson stated everyone involved in hockey operations, including players and coaches, are under evaluation. However, he says Peter Chiarelli's body of work is the reason he will return at the helm next season.
When I look at that, I really believe in his plan. Over the last number of months, we've been meeting with a lot of our season ticket holders. There's been anger and disappointment of where we ended up, and we will have a plan coming out here in the near future of how we're going forward.
All eyes will be on Peter Chiarelli in what could be the most important summer in franchise history. And now from the ice to the turf. The Edmonton Soccer Centers were home to one of the biggest sporting events in YEG, and the final did not disappoint Edmonton soccer fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2018 Mini World Cup over 35 men's final.
Good luck getting a seat for this match between El Salvador in their white uniforms and Portugal in their familiar reds. To the first half we go when Jose Reyes wins the ball and sets up William Gonzalez for a pretty finish. 1-0 El Salvador. Just minutes later, number 7, Portugal. Free kick. Where have we seen that before? After a Teixeira blast, the ball is picked up by Nelson Torre to even up the match at once. Is this fan fired up or what? Into the second half we go, tied 1-1 when Gonzalez puts home a screamer to put El Salvador back up by 1. And then it's equalizer time. Check out this nifty shot against the grain on the run. Are you kidding me, Cordero? Portugal's #1 fan? Yeah, it's pretty safe to say he's appreciative of the striker's efforts. He may have had a Red Bull or two before the game, just so you know. After getting the go-ahead goal, Portugal ices this one as Philip Copronce puts home a beautiful feed from Teixeira to give Portugal the Mini World Cup Championship. Both teams did exchange late tallies in the final minute to give us a final of 5-3. Following the game, Portugal's Roger Teixeira provides an interesting soundbite.
Like I said to the guys inside, we didn't have a team. We had a week left and we put a team in. So we're from nothing to taking it all the way. So it means a lot to us right now. It's just last minute, everyone's sending group chat texts and we're all like, hey, let's get a team together. And next thing you know, we're beating good teams. You know, we got Germany, we had Chile, and now with El Salvador. That was big. And we lost the first game to England 3-2 close game. So.
And for this week's End Zone Challenge, I put my lumberjack skills to the test. And let me tell you, all beard and no skill, not a winning combination.
When you go to a gym, you know you're working out. Here, you come here and you're having fun. You actually don't realize that you're actually working out.
Truer words have never been spoken. I made my way down to Jack Axe in South Edmonton to engage in some lumberjack activities.
Well, we're basically just a normal axe throwing company, but we go a little bit further than axe throwing. Pretty much all our activities pertaining towards the lumberjacks.
That includes knife throwing as well.
That happens.
Whoa. Shortly after almost destroying the camera, I made my way down to the 20-foot pole. Being the competitive guy I am, I went up as quick as I can. However, my overall time of 15 seconds didn't come close to the record.
5 seconds? That's insane.
Shortly after, I made my way over to the bucksaw, where teamwork was key. It was a satisfying cut, and NewsWatch even got a souvenir for our efforts. Other activities included dry land log burling and the Hercules hoist.
Keep with the momentum, keep going, push, push, push.
Which all provided a true lumberjack experience.
Tony, I gotta tell you, all you needed was one of them red and black lumberjack plaid jackets. You would have fit right in, buddy.
It's
right
funny
in.
that you bring that up because I actually had one ready to go, forgot it in the dryer.
Come on now.
That's a true story.
And Tony, I know your birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get people together to have a party or get a group together to go there, could you do something like that?
Yeah, you can actually. So if you visit jack-axe.com, you can search up some pricing and some upcoming events as well, and maybe even have your own group.
So it's it's dash.
Yeah, Axes. So AXES.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Cheers, guys.
Coming up after the break, Daryl and I head down to the Tell Us World of Science to get our morning cardio in.
We participated in a competition that brings awareness to Terry Fox's legacy.
What better way to celebrate Terry's Marathon of Hope than to try and involve you guys in something fun.
And be sure to tune in to see me get some exclusive looks at some brand new cars, as well as find out why people are planting terrariums in the brew house. All that and more on NAIT NewsWatch.
NR92, you score!
With NAIT Ooks Hockey, hosted by Brendan Escott and Tony Brar. NR92 brings you every goal, hit, and save. NAIT Ooks Hockey on the station for the students. NR92.com.
NewsWatch clothing provided by Action Air Mold and Asbestos.
NewsWatch music provided by Martin Mayer Productions.
The Tell Us World of Science is featuring the Canadian hero Terry Fox in its newest exhibit.
Isabel and I went over to compete in the inaugural Golden Shoes Challenge to raise awareness about the Terry Fox Foundation.
It's tiring.
This challenge, in partnership with Terry Fox Run Edmonton, invited various media outlets to compete in 3 different 15-minute time tasks for the Golden Shoes Trophy.
The tasks included a treadmill run, 10 Terry Fox trivia questions, and building a straw rocket. Now, we did run the furthest, but that was the only win we had, as we tied for second overall. However, we still had a lot of fun and learned a lot about Terry Fox's journey.
Well, we did want to do something that could commemorate the start of Terry's run, because it is the 38th anniversary. So once we decided on a running event, which obviously ties in seamlessly, it was pretty easy to pull the rest of the pieces together.
The Golden Shoes Challenge kicked off the TELUS World of Science's Go the Distance event. Hey Daryl, it's getting to the end of the year and I'm desperate for some distractions.
I know, there's so much going on right now. I just need like an out. Matt, do you got anything for us?
Well, have I got the goods for you two? Edmonton is revving up for the upcoming motor show, and we got a sneak preview at all that awesome automotive action. The motor show displayed several new Canadian releases, like the brand new 2019 Lexus UX, the new Toyota RAV4, and the first Ford Ranger since 2009. But this highlight is the 60s Mustang, named after the famous movie Bullitt. Heck, there was even a Honda customized by NAIT students.
Custom builds, classic cars. We try to be a show that's something for everyone.
You can check out the Edmonton Motor Show from April 12th through the 15th at the Edmonton Expo Center. If you're looking for a colorful night out and you like improv, then the 7th annual Bonfire Fest at the Rapid Fire Theatre has you covered. Bonfire Fest is an uncharted adventure into improv, where the stories are unique and the pressure is on, especially in last night's show, Tap, 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 where the improvisers will switch out on the fly.
My show is called Tap, Tap, Tap. It is an improvised scene. It'll be a 30-minute scene with 2 characters, but those 2 characters will be played by everyone in our company. So about 40 people will be tapping in, hence the name, to take over playing that character.
The Bonfire Fest takes place from April 12th through the 14th at the Citadel Theatre, and again from the 19th to the 21st. For tickets, it's $15 at the door and $12 in advance. Hockey can bring us together, but it's a game that pulls us together from all walks of life, all over the country. And one Canadian director wants to show just how powerful this game is.
Told me many hearts beating together makes us stronger.
Indian Horse is a story about a boy named Saul Indian Horse, who has a talent and love for hockey, and it follows him as he faces off against adversity and racism.
I want everyone to walk away after seeing this movie with knowledge. You know, I think too many people don't know this story still in 2018. I want people to really leave the theater going, what can I do? What can I find out more about the situation?
Now, Campanelli told us that Clint Eastwood and him have worked on multiple movies in the past, but when he pitched this movie to him, Clint was moved by it and signed on as executive producer. Bet you thought you'd never see a gardening at the Canadian Brew House, but people at Tiny Tea Terrarium showed the patrons just how fun it can be. Tiny Tea Terrariums is a local business that shows people how to make a terrarium. But why set up shop in a Canadian Brew House?
We host terrarium workshops. People just register, buy tickets, and we usually host them in a bar. We also do private events, but they'll come and we give them all of the essentials to make their own terrarium. They get to choose the plants that they want, and then they get to decorate it however they want, and then they'll have their own terrarium. You can learn more at tinyteaterrariums.ca. Well, that's it for me in entertainment. Back to you guys.
That's been your look at our final NAIT News Watch.
Thank you for joining us this season.